The AV Life is brought to you by our wonderful sponsors, Audinate, Crestron, Panasonic, and Sennheiser. Thank you so much for your support.
Greetings from a very warm Kansas City. This is Renee at AV Renee KC. You are listening to and watching the AV Life, and may the 4th be with you.
Hey, this is Nancy Blanchard from rainy San Jose once again. And I'm with Williams AV and on Twitter at Nancy Blanchard. And you are listening to and watching the AV Life.
James King here, writer for the Higher Ed Digital Magazine, IT and AV column, HEPMA board member. You Google me, you'll find me, and you are watching and listening to the AV Life.
Hello there. I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi. No. This is your host, Tim Van Wert, wannabe Jedi. Although I am wearing Stormtrooper apparel, and my Star Wars hat is a little on the dark side here. But you are watching and listening to the AV Life.
So
yes.
Tim,
yeah.
Maybe you know this. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I watch it I'll watch it here and there, but I'm not a huge fan of it. But I learned a little tidbit today.
Okay.
The actor who played Obi-Wan, you know what he did before that role?
We were talking the original. You're talking about the original Alec McGuinness,
the original actor. Do you know what his job was before that role?
I mean, I know he did like British stage production, like Shakespeare type stuff, but I don't know what his actual like regular job was. What was that?
He was a stagehand.
Oh,
nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
From behind the scenes to front of the scenes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for that fun fact, James.
It's always something you're learning on the AV Life. Always.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, the high quality content that we're all here for. And I do happen to have
quality content.
Yes, I do have my lightsaber. Although this is a newer one for me.
Oh, nice.
Murphy's not here to do the picture, so put your lightsaber. Yeah, you got to get it off your face. There you go. Okay, yeah. There we go.
You can't really see it though. That's the thing. It's getting cut off.
Okay. Put it up. Put it back up. It's fine. There we go. Done.
So funny story. Funny story. I actually was one of our good friends of the AV Life, Chris Netto. We all know he works for Starin Marketing.
Yes.
They had a town hall webinar with the folks from Aver, and because Chris is probably about as big of a Star Wars fan as I am. They did it Star Wars themed, so like half the people from Aver were wearing Star Wars t-shirts, and
cool.
Chris did his big intro with as in a Star Wars kind of theme, and they gave away a lightsaber to one of the people that were attending the webinar, and that was me.
Bravo.
So I was like, I kind of like look. I messaged Chris, and I'm like, of course it would be me. Like if you couldn't give it to yourself, like it
only makes sense.
It only makes sense. So and I'm sorry, we're getting ahead of ourselves as we always do, but I'm sure you all recognize that other voice that's on the podcast with us tonight. Longtime friend of the AV Life, AV veteran. I think I can safely say that for you. And friend to all of us within the AV family, Miss Michelle Loret. Welcome back to the AV Life.
Thanks, guys. I actually missed the heck out of y'all, so thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
You have such history with us, Michelle, like in a good way. I mean,
we got stories. We got stories.
Yeah, we got stories. Yeah, we do. And when you messaged in and said you wanted to join us, I was like, well, yes, of course. So
I was like, I know a guy. I wonder if I can get on. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Here goes the DM, right?
Well, it's funny too.
I lost my Twitter handle, so it got hacked along with my Instagram. So people are evil.
And they wouldn't get it back for you, huh?
Well, there's only like 5 employees left at Twitter. I can't even believe the platform still works. I mean, come on now.
Touche, yes.
So
yeah, Elon can't. Yeah, Elon can't do it by himself, so there's just too much.
And Instagram was just as equally as horrible of a no resolution customer service. So I'm like, well, y'all all
Yeah,
suck.
that
That's fine.
sucks.
I know.
Yeah.
It was like
I hate that the
2,800
bad guys.
organic followers. I was very proud of myself. I'd had that account for like
I
13
know.
years, and I
Yeah.
didn't use it the first 9 till I started tweeting with AV people.
Right,
I like
that's
didn't even
right.
know how. I was like, oh, look, it's the whole community. Who knows? You can meet people all over the world. So yeah.
Oh yeah, if it wasn't for Twitter, I probably wouldn't know like any of our AV Brits out there. Like I wouldn't
I know.
No.
because I never been like, as everyone knows from listening to the podcast, like I didn't go to Infocomm until 3 years ago.
Right. You were
and
just in your
then
little cocoon up at
I was in my
Rutgers.
little New Jersey, my little New Jersey cocoon, and then, I got involved with HETMA and, Higher Ed AV, and then, and Corey brought me into here.
Yeah.
So, and this is, and Renee, yeah.
Yeah, ditto his story. Yeah.
Yeah.
And mine
Well,
actually Infocomm, because I've been doing Infocomm for a lot of years, but still we didn't have this kind of community as we have since Chris started probably AV in the AM.
Yeah.
I mean, we had
I
AV
would think.
tweets and we had like women in AV, but I mean, Michelle can testify, maybe Nancy, maybe I just didn't know you, but back in the day, I mean, there'd be 30 girls sitting in a room and that was women in AV, right? And Infocomm was, pretty big. Was it called Infocomm then? I think it was pre-Infocomm then.
No, it was Infocomm then. Yeah.
It was
It's always been
Infocomm,
Infocomm.
It just wasn't Avixa.
No,
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, there would be how many of us at that breakfast? 30?
Yeah.
Tables were full and might be 20 or 30 ladies. Now you go into that room and you're like, the men are supporting and you can't get in if you don't have a ticket. And now you pay. And now it's like
standing room
3
only.
huge ballrooms, standing room only. And we have guest speakers. And it's like,
yeah,
it's really evolved. But back to Tim's point, I didn't really get too much involved with everybody until AV in the AM, AV tweets, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think one year, Michelle and I, we were there, they made you sit by state. And I was like,
they did.
There's nobody in an 8-state area that's going to be near me. So can I please come sit in your Texas table, whatever. But because that's how little it was.
Girl.
It's not that way today. So it's funny to see how it's evolved. And you guys came, James too, I think, right? James and you came in at the same time. As far as
correct.
Infocomm.
Yep, that was my first one.
Yep. Yeah, that's the first time I met James too, as the story goes. The first time I physically met James was at that Infocomm, even though he was at the time 2.5 hours away from me. Yeah.
Yep.
But that's how it goes
cool.
sometimes. That's the cool thing about Infocomm or about some of these shows. It's like, I mean, look, we did this podcast for how many years before we all really met each other in person, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I met a lot of people, like even Michelle face to face. That was ISE Amsterdam, and they decided to have me as being the PSNI champion, and Jason was there, and that's how I got to know all the UK Brits. That was the first time I met Joe. So
I knew
you had
Joe
to leave
before.
the country to meet her, right?
Yeah.
And that's
crazy.
And so, and speaking of Corey and his relationship with us, and we all have, well, I was the same, most of us remember Corey. I mean, I think James might have been a little before you, but the Star Wars episode dates back to him. So this is a long stand, and even Renee was saying that
my Walmart sweatshirt that I had to go get to record that, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know if I'll be able to fit this on again. Thank God I only hear up, but this is
a crop
Corey's
top
fault.
now. But hey, that's okay. It's not in the field of view.
This here, but this is Corey's fault too.
This is Corey's fault. Yeah. Although, I gladly accept this one as one of our regular episodes. And the timing is nice always, it seems like, because these episodes tend to very much relate themselves to Avixa and Infocomm and everything like that. And actually, it was funny because if you didn't see it yet, because by the time you see this is going to be Monday.
Right.
And if you haven't seen the video of Dave Labuscus in the Star Wars New Hope video clip that Avixa released as part of Infocomm, go find it. It is. It's
It's
funny.
on LinkedIn.
It's on LinkedIn. It's on Twitter. I think it's on
Yeah.
their Instagram as well. Go find it. It's very well done. And I've always stood by that the Princess Leia hologram is that next level. And I know
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna get. I know we could have that argument about AR and VR and all that stuff too. But that portable projector kind of thing. And I was actually also just watching 2 episodes of The Mandalorian of the most recent series.
Nice.
Might have been also
course
part
you
of the
were.
reason that that was also might have been part of the reason I was late to getting down here. I was like, I had like 2 minutes left of the episode, and I'm like, I gotta get down there. I'm eating dinner and
They can
finishing all
wait.
this. Yeah.
Is everybody going? James, are you going to be at Infocomm?
Oh, yes, I will be at
Okay.
Infocomm.
Good. Good. Nancy, you have to be there. I know. Renee, you have to be there. And you're going to be there as well, Tim.
Yes, I am there.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
I will be at the Hetmo booth 4489 and I will be there the entire
Oh,
time
cool.
or most of the
Cool.
time. I am trying.
Like to be a
and J-
manufacturer stuck to your booth. Oh,
Well, so
And Joe Way, if you're listening, he did not have to look at a sticky note or anything. He just
I
rattled
knew
it
it.
right off.
I knew it.
well, so I always believe, sometimes there's mixed blessings. So I wasn't chosen. We had to scale back our team
Mhm.
for Infocomm with ADI, who I work
Yeah.
with in distribution. And so I wasn't selected. I'm going to assume that's why. Not that it's my personality or anything like that, right? Because then that'll just hurt my feelings. But the mixed blessing is that I already have my ticket. I was telling James I bought it with Southwest Points like 6 weeks ago because all the nonstop flights were selling out, and so I had already bought my ticket and I had people I can crash with. So I'm going, but I don't have to be tethered to the booth.
There you go.
yeah.
There you
Well,
go.
So
my
I did
my
that
14th,
last year
like,
for Murphy. So I
yeah.
have when I had to book my room, I'm like 2 queens. Because if somebody needs to do that again,
Yep.
Yeah.
so you let me know if you need a place.
Yeah, my company can't understand. I'm hardly on the booth because of there's things going on and doing podcasts and you name it. So my 14th literally is me with the AV Life, with the HETMA, with the AV Nation, with
Oh my
Starin.
God.
And don't say anything. I got to try to make up that I'm having meetings off my booth with consultants. So
We'll help
Well,
you. We'll make
We
it
totally
happen.
will help you.
yes.
So
I like to
We-
consult
I-
on a lot of things: barbecue, vodka.
You
I-
come
I'm
by and you go,
happy.
Nancy, there's a consultant I want you to meet, and they're over at booth, what
Uh-huh.
have
Perfect.
Happy to
Done.
do so.
Done. I've
Yeah.
got
Well,
your
I
back
think-
on this.
you.
not that I'm trying to be a little egotistical about my organization, but Hetma booth is gonna be the place to be. So if you're gonna be anywhere, that's where you're gonna want to be. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a lot of fun, and
Do you have live music?
We'll have
Are
a
there hors
DJ.
d'oeuvres?
Well,
You
yes,
will.
from 3 to 5 p.m. on both Wednesday and Thursday. We will
Ooh.
have happy hour. And the one on Thursday is sponsored by Sharp NEC Display Solutions.
Nice.
And
That's nice of them.
that's in conjunction. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Renee, but thank you.
Well, I
Was
feel like
because of
I
you.
feel like I helped.
It was
set
because
that
of
up.
you. Exactly. What are you making that
started-
frowny face for, girl? Come
Hey,
on.
don't worry. Don't worry. It will
Thank
be
you.
me
Thank you
next
to
year.
thank you to Renee from Sony for making
Right.
There you go.
We're helping with Sharp NEC being a sponsor, a proud sponsor of the
Yeah.
HETMA booth at Infocomm.
Right.
That's
So
like
it's a shit.
That's like customers today. He said, "Thank you to Epson for making me a Sony customer." I'm like, "Hey, you know what? I'll take what I can get. Sorry,
Oh.
take what I can get. I don't have
All
to
day
do all
long.
the work." Yeah.
So
Oh, go
to
ahead,
go
James.
on the HEPMA booth thing is, the parties, the happy hours, they're going to be great. But really, I think why people need to go by the HEPMA booth is the approved classroom.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, I can't wait to see
the
that.
approved gear will be on display at that booth. And I know if Joe was here, he would pull that number out of his hat like it's
Mhm.
nothing. But Higher Ed makes up a huge budget for AV purchases.
Right.
As we say, we don't buy one of things, we buy 200 of them.
Right.
So we are clients you want to come to and see what we do in our classrooms. So this is where you need to be, the HEPMA booth.
So what is this approved classroom? Elaborate, James.
So,
I don't
oh,
think
So
I'm up to speed.
it's basically it's going to be every product that's been through the approved program that's been approved will be on display.
Y'all
And
have a third party
so
manufacturer approval process, rating,
we actually do it
certification?
ourselves. We do it
Yeah.
ourselves.
Okay.
We do a basically a blind evaluation. So
Okay.
the product gets sent to HEPMA members who have elected to be part of the evaluation team. There's certain
Okay.
criteria that need to be met, and if those
Uh-huh.
criteria get met and they get positive evaluations, then the product gets approved.
So
So
I have a question. Is one of the criteria that they send Joe on like to a conference in Dubai where he can
nope,
present, or no?
no, this isn't.
No.
no.
No,
So
I was about
yeah,
to make this political, and I'm gonna stop myself right there. So,
You're
uh,
good. You're good, Tim.
but no,
so
no.
yeah, the approval program. What's the benefit of the approval program for those who don't know it? And if you
Yeah.
don't know it, you should know it. But the beneficial of the approval program is we all know USC has money. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we all know that UNLV has money. Rutgers has money. But what about those community colleges in the Midwest who may only see their reps once a year?
Oh
They
yeah.
don't know what's going on out there. HEPMA allows, besides HEPMA being the voice for higher ed in general, now we can actually put out products out there to say that these smaller schools who can, if
Yeah.
they make a wrong choice that's financially hurting them, they can go to their supervisors, their administration, and go, look, this product has been vetted for higher
Right.
education and will
Deployed.
work. Yeah.
No, that is a good idea. And I knew when I worked at the K Word, we had a lot in the education vertical, both K through 12 and higher ed. And it's one thing when you're in a major metropolitan area like Houston, and it's another thing when you're like in Diboll, and there's like 700 people population, and there's maybe one high school, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of my K through 12 clients, their projects got put on hold not because of COVID, but because they had been victims of ransomware. So they get
Yeah.
hacked by somebody halfway around the world, and they're like, "You must pay us $1 million." They're like, "That's our whole ISD's budget. What are you talking about? We'll give
Yeah.
you 50 grand, but that's the IT budget. Is that 50,000? So yeah, the struggle is. Well, that sounds like a great program. I'm glad y'all are doing that. That's very
Well,
nice.
and
Kind
the
of a pay it
and the best
forward.
thing about this whole HETMA, and James, kudos to him for starting the Slack channel, is that at the end of the day, they're all competition. I mean, they're all competition, right?
Hmm.
Should I go to Rutgers? Should I go to UNLV? Should I go to the University of Missouri? Should
Oh
I go
yeah,
here? Right? They're all competing, and they all have their things to offer. But in the backside, where the tech guys are all talking to each other, they're sharing their information.
right.
This is what works for me. This is not what works. And oh, by the way, USC has the budget to test these things and spend the money and buy one or two or four of these things.
Right.
And UMKC may not, but they may be on
Right.
this Slack channel going, oh, you know what? I don't have to do the legwork.
Yeah.
James did it at UNLV. It didn't work out. Tim did this at Rutgers, and we're going to give this one a chance. So they almost have like an unspoken
So,
set of
yeah.
research
So
that they
Yeah.
didn't have to do,
Is
right?
there a
tell
list of products that
Renee,
didn't pass muster as
Well,
well?
yeah,
if
there
you're
is
not on
at
the
least
Slack
one
channel, you
product that
don't
did
know,
not pass.
right?
There is
Okay,
one
fair enough.
product that has not passed.
Uh-huh.
And so that's the thing is there's a lot of requirements for the HEPMA approved product. Like
Hmm.
the one requirement, it actually has to be a real product. And what we mean by that is you can buy it today. Not,
Okay,
oh, we're thinking about making this product,
we're
and,
gonna.
then becomes vaporware.
Yeah.
So it actually has to be product out on the market.
Mhm.
So there's that. And there's like guidelines. We look at security. We look at
Yeah.
how easy it is to deploy. How does it do what the manufacturer said? We
Yeah.
all know manufacturers love to say, "Oh, it can do all these things," and then you put it in, and it's like, "No, sorry, can't do that." Because we don't live in a perfect,
Conceptually, right? Yeah. But
we
the
don't live in that
actuality is
perfect
no.
world. But going to what Renee was saying about
Mhm.
one thing I also want to make sure is clear is the Slack group and HETMA are completely separate, but
Okay.
Yeah.
um, we do communicate with each other, and we've
Nice.
also like the one thing that I found very shockingly was, and Tim can contest to this, we actually had a member, a HETMA member, who had a unique space. They're like, I have this unique space. We need to do something in there. Can I bounce ideas off people? I was one of those folks who said, yeah, I have no problem. Let me, I'll jump on a call. We can talk about it. So we did that. And when we reviewed the space, I was like, this product would be perfect for that space.
Hmm.
And they're like, well, it was by a company. I'm not going to name companies. They're like,
Okay.
well, we don't have a good relationship with that company. Like, we
Mhm.
get on hold with them. Our RMAs sit there for weeks at end. And
Mm.
I never had that problem with that company.
Right.
Like, I
Yep.
always talk to my rep and they were like, turn things around. They bend over backward. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, this is not the relationship I ever had with them. I'm like, I was like, I don't even use this company anymore, but this is a rep I use. Call them. And
Uh-huh.
he actually helped that person out.
Ah, nice.
That is the moral of the story. That's what they get done. And then, sorry, James, I probably outspoke. I'm like, I pretend like I'm HETMA adjacent, but I'm so intertwined with these guys that I feel like I'm there.
This
So
No,
I
you
speak
did
for
not
them when I
miss.
shouldn't.
Yeah. I just want to be clear because the thing is, because HEPMA and because my Slack group, and we can even say the higher AEV, like we have, like, I am a member of HEPMA. I am a member of that Slack group. I am a member of higher AEV. So it's like, it does all blur together.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
James is all things. Yeah.
I just like how you really put yourself out there, James. So
Oh
thank you
yeah,
for coming out of
James.
your shell.
Oh,
Good.
James, yeah, you've done very well for yourself over the last couple
Last
of years since
Oh
the
my
last half
God, it's
decade, I
so
would say,
amazing.
seriously.
It has a lot to do with the Twitter, like Tim and
Yeah.
Renee and everyone was talking about earlier, getting out there and having people open the door. I mean,
Yeah.
having somebody like Joe A, who, just never even knew the person, just message me and be like, hey, you want to be on a
Yeah.
podcast? I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And
Who's this dude?
then just that opportunity that came from that. And then, of course, it takes not just the door being open, then you
Mhm.
actually got to walk through that door. You got to actually walk through it and put the work in and stay connected and then pay it forward. Open the door for someone else and bring them along and provide their voices. Like
I find it
right.
very
Britt
rewarding
That's so
when you
awesome.
help people.
is doing great.
Who
Mhm.
is?
Britt and Brace
Oh,
Space.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That is, yeah, she's hit the world by storm.
One woman force of nature. Love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Love it.
yeah.
I just recorded with her Tuesday, which will be out in
Oh,
October.
nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
she's
I wish I
great.
could figure I wish I could I didn't sit down and do the math yet because I also have my scheduled date for recording, but I don't if you're in October, I'm probably not coming out till next year at some point.
Well, but you know
Mine
what?
came out today.
She's doing them. Yeah. I
Yes,
listened.
James just came
I have
out
like
today. Yeah.
I have like 18 minutes left of yours, James, but so far I love it. But I was in the middle of that when we started. But yeah, I recorded Tuesday and I think she said first week of October. So that's how far out she is, which is great. And she's awesome.
Yeah, she's
I
doing
mean,
she's like recording twice a week or at least twice a week. So it's
she is. Yeah,
yeah.
she is.
Yeah.
So I'm
Sweet.
really proud of
And
her. Like she's just like force of nature kind of. She came in at, should I do Twitter? Should I do a podcast? Oh, that's right. You can record today and be recorded. You come out in November. Like she's
Yeah.
just kicking ass and taking names. I
So
love it.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing, like, yes, Britt is someone who, when the door was open for her, walked through it, took the bull by the horn, and is doing an amazing thing. And what Brave Space is doing is great. But I also have to say, kudos to the AV vertical and even AV adjacent for somebody like Britt, who is tackling a tough subject. I mean, Brave Space is not the AV life, and we all love the AV life, but it's not up and beat. And you know, we can get dark here, but Brave Space is a tough topic, and to be where I'm recording today and you might air in October means he has such a queue lined up of outstanding members who want to be part of this Brave Space.
I know it's
So
amazing.
what types of things is she talking about then?
So if you haven't listened to her podcast,
I listened to one, and I was really impressed by, I think it was the first one that I listened to
with Tammy.
I think Tammy.
Yeah, I think it was with Tammy. It was one
Yeah.
or two.
So she defines it well, and she was when Tim had her on here. She defined it pretty well as well. But a difference between a brave space and a safe space is a safe space is where you go to and you're protected, your comfort, you feel safe. A brave space is a safe space, but it's a space that is supposed to put you in, like, get you in uncomfortable almost, and talk about the tough topics, like stuff that happens at Infocomm to females and minorities, or at trade shows, because it's not just Infocomm, it's everywhere. I mean, I talked to somebody today. The story they told me, I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe that happened. And it's like, and they had to stop doing what they were doing. And I'm like, they shouldn't have to. Like, that's not right for them.
James, was it current, or was it like years ago?
The story was of what happened years ago, but they still happen nowadays. But yeah.
And I think that's the point, is to get it out there.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. So I was in New York City last week for business, and I had city workers who were catcalling. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Really?
In this
That's a throwback. That's crazy.
New York City.
Wow.
That's
but
wild.
You know what?
Yeah.
ISC was the same thing, Michelle, when that was my first time there, and it was Amsterdam, and it was all the international guys. You know, you're walking around on the show floor, and they're same thing. They're making comments or whistling or whatever. And I thought, oh, you've got to be kidding me. That was the 90s. We're talking.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. I didn't have that problem so much. You can always spot the Euros because they love, like, skinny suit pants and skinny ties, and it's just their fashion is so different, right? You're like,
the red shoes, the red running shoes.
You're the EMEA contingent, right?
Yeah. Well, I did give her an example when I recorded this week, and it was really weird for me because I actually talked to my husband about it. I'm like, I hadn't thought about this in years. But I have one example. It happened to be once early in my career. And I thought, you know what? I need to talk about it because it might happen to somebody tomorrow or at Infocomm, and maybe they need to hear about it. But I never had to deal with it again, ever. And I even told her, I was like, I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm at an event, whether it be the AV Life and I got James and Tim and Joe, or I'm at my booth where I got all these people, there is no guy going to let me be disrespected ever like that. That's not going to step in if I say, hey, this is what's happening. Because I feel like the guys have stepped up to go, hey, this is not a good old boys club anymore.
Right.
Like, we are people with feelings, with
be kind to each other. Right.
And I just, so I feel, and I told her, I said, I'm the glass half full, but I don't really deal with it. I don't worry about it. Now, if I travel alone, and it's like I was in Albuquerque a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, holy shit, I might die here because it's not a great place where I'm at. I was never worried about the fellas that I was with. They made sure I got to my car, or they made sure whatever, but I just don't anymore. Not that it doesn't happen, because it does. I just feel like we're getting better, and the guys in our circle are doing better about, okay, we're all walking together back to the hotel, to the lobby, to make sure we all at least get that place safe. You know, there's a lot more awareness than there used to be when you and I were walking each other back in the middle of the night after a Winstead training. You know, it's changed a lot since then. So
And change for the better.
I
Yes.
agree. Not that, you know, you always have one bad apple, right? You always have the one bad apple, but I feel like James, I did listen to part of the podcast because I got interrupted with this one, but one of the things he says that I always admire James about is always be learning. But the other thing he said today was, I'm always trying to be better. So combine the two, and it's like, think about, you know, things that you and I have had to worry about in the past, that now it's like, you know, we have to worry about it for our friends, and we have to worry about it for the people that we're hanging out with at these big shows. Like, I might not be worried because I'm standing next to James and Tim and Joe, but what about my friend over there who doesn't know everybody and she's standing by herself? Let's all let's be aware and be better, and not say, hey guys, let's go. Hey everyone,
So
let's
I
go
have
do
a
this.
question.
You know,
And I
I have
apologize. I'm going to preemptively apologize for that, for what you just said, Renee, because I say, "Hey guys," and I don't mean it that way. I never do.
you know what?
It's a Jersey. I
never
think it's
do
a
either.
Jersey thing.
Jersey
And I'm
thing.
trying,
Yeah.
but I'm trying not to be like too 1990s and say like, dude. It's like, come on, dudes, let's go. Like, I think also I say y'all, which is weird because I know I'm
always
not
say
from that
y'all.
area. I'm not from
Michelle.
that area, but I got family in Tennessee, so that's how I say I get away with
Yeah.
it.
That's
So,
right.
You know what?
So-
There's a point where
sorry, Rich.
it's too political. And it's like guys.
Yeah.
Everybody says guys. My boys, my son calls me dude.
Yeah.
You know? So I mean, it's just now in an email, what I'll do is I'll change it because, like you said, I'll say folks.
Yeah.
Folks, because then if there is a female, then you know, but nobody can
Neutral.
get upset about guys. It's like, come on.
Well, like when I do emails or I get to a group meeting, I'm like, it's so nice to be with you guys again. And it's like, well, there's half girls, and I'm not trying to be offensive, but if I say, hey guys, and if you guys just said right now, just say, hey, you guys, I would never think anything of it, but some people do.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, what James was alluding to. You can correct me.
You know
but it's
what,
like,
Renee? Let's change it up and put, hey gals.
well,
Yeah,
so I
just call
say,
everybody
hey,
a
y'all.
gal.
I just
So
call
yeah,
everybody y'all.
some people do get upset about
Do
the
they?
language that's being used.
Mhm.
So that's what talking about as always trying to be better. Like, yeah, saying hey guys, that you may make somebody in that group uncomfortable. Be whoever. It could be a guy who just, that's not what they identify as, or so
Yeah.
you can't make these assumptions anymore. And so you have to be using inclusive language. And so yes, you're going to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, but that's even myself. I make mistakes. That's why I keep saying I'm always trying to be better. It's like, all right, that's not what I meant. Let's fix this. Let's try to be better and be better every day and keep learning and keep growing and have that growth mindset, because there will be things that I know I say that are wrong. Like I said it on the podcast, like there's probably things that happen at trade shows that would probably mortify the ladies on there that I might have been blinded to, because I never even thought twice about it. But now I'm trying to be like catching that a little more and looking at it a little more. Another thing, I didn't say this on the podcast, but another thing that I took from the book I mentioned on the podcast was being intentional of how you interact with people. So one of the stories in the book was a guy who thought he was very pro women, like it was a supporter of females and wanted to he hired females, pushed them up and all that stuff. He's like, I'm going to take one of those bias tests. And he took a bias test and came that he was biased against females. And he's like, how could this be? He first got into a defensive mechanism. And then he's like, no, let me be better. Let me have a growth mindset and learn from this. So he actually took an audit of his contacts. And his contacts were 60% male. And even his social media contacts, he was interacting with 60% males. He's like, all right, so I am being biased. And I actually took that at heart, and I kind of doing the same thing where I looked at my contacts, my circle, I'm like, do I have a fair balance? Or if I'm doing that doom scrolling and come across a post and say, I'll use Renee, say Renee posted something, I may skip over that, but now I'll look at that and go, well, if Tim wrote that, would I comment it? Would I liked it? Would
I see. Yeah.
And if so, why am I not doing that for Renee? So I purposely now control how I am interacting with others on social media.
Very good points, James. Very
self-awareness
points.
Yeah.
So
That's where it starts. It all starts with ourselves. So that's how it always begins. Even the great Michael Jackson, in Man in the Mirror, the song change begins with the man in the mirror, or the person in the mirror.
Right.
I don't want to misquote his song though. So, but that change starts with us. And James is a great example of that. Like, he's seeing that he needs to change the way he is, and by that, and we're talking about it, this is a discussion, then we all make our own little changes, and there we go.
Absolutely.
So have we heard anything? Has Chuck Espinosa put together the AV karaoke party for Infocom since we're all
Oh,
going?
yes.
Have there been any updates?
It's
No, hold
Tuesday.
on.
That's Tuesday night at O'Shucks. So that's.
Oh, and guess what? Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to call the owner of O'Shucks, who I met because Infocom before last in Orlando, I did leave not one, but both of my cell phones in his bar.
Are you
Yeah,
And
serious?
he was
remember
nice,
that.
and he answered the phone as I was standing in the Verizon store about to pull the trigger on buying another phone because I was like, I can't not have a phone. It's like, Wednesday at Infocom. And so we got to chatting, and Chuck does this cute thing where he sets it up and he tells us and he doesn't tell the owners. So then they don't have enough bartenders, right? And then our service is slow because we show up en masse, right? We will literally take over the whole place. So I did promise the guy. I
I
didn't
just sent it to
obviously.
you,
Good.
Michelle.
I did promise the guy that we didn't do it for the one in October, right? Because that was like a sub
Right.
10,000 person Infocom. That's more
Right.
like, it felt like a regional show. We were just happy to see each other again. But yes. So I'll make sure they've got plenty of help. Those people know they're going to be making good money. There's going to be all kind of AV tweets there, and we'll get
Yeah.
better service. So yay!
And
Yeah.
also, I will remind those who are going there, if you're not familiar, Florida still allows for indoor smoking. So don't be surprised when
No,
you.
really?
I believe. Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
Brad mentioned that. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I had jumped up
So.
on stage with Brad because I'm sure he was dying to do a duet with me. No, he was not. But he was a really good sport about it. And it was a Billy Joel song. And I was like,
I remember that.
yeah. And he was like, sorry I didn't stick around. But the cigarette smoke was like really getting to my wife.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if you could smoke inside, why do I go outside? And I do it because it's just to be polite. You know what I mean? Because
Well,
you can
Yeah.
always tell. Yeah,
for the
that
other
gets to be too
49
much.
states in the other 49 states in the union, I think it's not allowed for the most part. But I could be
Yeah,
wrong with
it's
that. I'm
been banned. Big Tobacco lost that battle a long time ago. We know
A
all their
long time
lies,
ago.
right?
yeah. So
Well,
that I
Michelle,
will
set it
warn.
up for us and let them
Yeah.
know that we have like 300 people. Last year they waited at the door because the place was really small. But
I
yeah.
Oh,
that was the
Vegas one.
The Vegas
Yeah, but
one.
this year it's bigger. I mean, that one is bigger in Orlando
Oh yeah,
than it is in Vegas.
Oh Shucks is
Oh,
way bigger. Yeah.
yeah. No, it is, and yeah. Last year, I bribed the door guy, at the casino karaoke bar, to let some of the AV tweets in, and he was like, "I can't. We're at capacity," and I was like, "It's Vegas. This is $100 bill. This is absolutely what you're supposed to be doing. I'm bribing you to violate fire code. So you're going to violate the fire code and you're going to let these 10 people in because we can't wait. Why did y'all let people not with our group in? That's my question, you know?
I feel like I feel like Vegas karaoke is like a whole nother level than Orlando karaoke is. So I think that's the other thing is that, you know, any of the locals in Orlando that see us coming, they're just like, yeah, okay, I'll come back another night.
Right.
Whereas
Yeah.
Vegas is like,
the Vegas
this is
locals
my
didn't care. They
place.
just stayed. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
No,
They're
I
like, we
think-
were here first. Get off my lawn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You tourist. You dang
That'll be a lot
tourist.
different at O'Sharks. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that'll be good. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's all gonna be great. There's also the Higher Ed AV Awards on Monday, so don't miss out on that. So I'd be a miss, and also, well, no, at this point nominations are closed, so we'll be getting some announcements shortly for those
nice.
awards.
Exciting.
So yes, come and join us for a fun-filled night. I have promised I will show up in a tuxedo, so if you are dying to see me in a tuxedo, then I will be wearing my tuxedo.
I would love to see how you clean up. I would love to see that.
I clean up pretty well. Well,
I bet you do.
I've seen the bow
I
tie.
had
I can
pictures of
picture
last
that.
year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's like
just,
here.
it's the next.
If you want Michelle, if you want your picture with Tim, it's going to look like this.
Yeah.
No,
Because
I'm going to
Michelle
stand on a
is-
bench. I'm going to stand on
Yeah.
a bench, and then we'll.
Michelle
look
is
like
SPOAV.
OAV.
AV.
That's
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
All day long.
Her and Gina.
Her and Gina. Yeah, her and Gina are the presidents
Victoria.
of that organization.
Victoria Ferrari. She's got a
Yes.
seat at that table
Yep.
too.
Oh, and
What's
I
your
think you
height,
get. I think you're gaining
what?
grit as well.
What's your height? I mean, I know Gina.
I am a very, very tall 5'3.5". So.
Well, then you're taller than I. I'm
Are you
5'2"
petite
and
also?
3/4.
Well, see, that's why we look like eye to eye, basically, right?
We're all the same height on Zoom.
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we'll get pictures this year.
I think that was probably the comment I got the most when I went to my first Infocomm was that, wow, yeah, you really are tall. Was this? It's like,
oh
yeah,
no,
well,
I
'cause-
freaked out. Yeah, I'm like, Tim, okay.
So,
But well, it's going to be great. I can't wait. I mean,
yes.
I'm working my tail off from here till then, but
Mhm.
it'll be great.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
yeah, we're
I'm
we're
excited.
hustling to get things ready for HETMA, for Higher Ed AV. Like, there's going to be so much going on. Good stuff, like James said. We've got the approved classroom. There's going to be fun events, serious events. Oh, geez, I almost forgot. Then there's the education summit on Tuesday afternoon. So before oh shucks and everything like that, we will Tuesday afternoon we have our education summit, and you know, we're going to be doing some really fun things about that. So if you're in higher ed, and you want to come and spend the afternoon with us,
Nice.
go on Infocomm, register. There's plenty of space. And yeah,
Is there a fee?
$50, James.
I
That's
think
not too bad.
that's the award.
The Higher Ed award is 50.
I think the summit is part of the Infocomm package, but I'm not
The education
Okay.
package.
Yeah, I think it's part of the
so-
education package.
So I think
Good to
that's
know.
200 or 250, something like that. So
Yeah. Okay, that sounds great.
So not only would you get the education summit, but then you also get all the other education stuff along the way. So, and you've seen that Joe Way has been sharing all the awesome swag that we're giving away. So,
Oh yeah, he's up in the ante, the swag ante.
Oh, he geez, yeah, he did. Yeah, he
Either you're
did.
gonna love us or you're gonna hate us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Or
so
both.
Go big or go home,
I-
guys. Come on.
so real quick, because I want to start wrapping us up here. So yeah, I looked at the map. So 4489 is if you see the Avixa Exchange booth.
Yeah.
If you go to the left side of that booth and go back into the next section and go all the way to the back wall, that's where HETMA is. So we're kind of in the back, but that's good because then we could just have fun back there and have all of our
Right.
stuff, and you'll know where to find us. And
Worth the
actually
walk.
our biggest neighbors at Lona, so they're getting a free call out
okay.
here because they're the next closest big booth. So it's a Vixa at Lona, and then Hetma is another booth back from there. Who's in
Okay,
between?
well, if you're in the front
Oh.
row and you're looking for the really
Ashley-
big booths,
Ashley Audio.
1701
So
is Sony.
yeah.
And what I say, I posted was buy amp. It's the same as last year. They're right across from us, so it makes it so much easier. I just
Oh,
go,
there you go.
yeah.
go to the buy amp booth and we're right there.
There you go.
So
Either way, yeah.
this is a great episode. I know we didn't talk a whole lot about Star Wars, but that's okay because I think everything we talked about was ridiculously
We
important. So
represented Star
we
Wars. That's what's
represented it.
important.
Yes, exactly.
Channeled.
As if I don't need a reason to do this either.
Wear
So
their
like I was rushing looking for a t-shirt, and this is just the first one I found. So it was
Well,
like,
Which
you
is
know,
a
I coulda
lie.
got-
We know the first 12 t-shirts all look the same. That looks like Star Wars.
well, and, you know, and then
Oh,
you know,
and
I've got
James, look at James.
Hey,
yeah,
AB
James
Live.
is yeah. So
Aw, repping Infocomm last year. AV Live
yes,
Yep.
shirts.
Love this
Nice.
shirt, Renee. Thank
yeah,
you.
it's a growl. Yeah, it's a great shirt. Yes, it
Yep.
is. So
Are y'all doing shirts for this year too?
to be determined.
Ooh,
So
dot, dot.
I don't think I'm gonna have Renee. No, I'm not looking at Renee this time. So yeah, no.
I might do
So-
stickers or koozies or something.
Well, that's
fun,
what
maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking at stickers. We'll have that. And I got to make sure I bring enough of those. And then yeah, we'll figure out from there what else we could do. So
Sweet.
yeah. All right. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for
You
having
know,
me, y'all.
always a pleasure
miss
having
you.
you here.
Yeah,
Yes,
Michelle
yes.
too.
Can't wait to see you in 5 weeks. So
40
Yeah, how many days are we at? Is it? It's under 40.
38,
Ooh,
38, I
Oh.
think.
Yeah.
Because Josh Kaufman tagged me in something Oh no, that was today. 39.
Today.
So
Oh,
Yeah,
39.
39.
As of today is 39. Yeah,
Cool.
it's been one of those
So
days.
there goes
Yes,
my blood pressure again. There goes my blood pressure again. Thanks for that, Tim.
No
All
problem.
right.
So 7.5 weeks as of this recording.
Awesome.
And I start Monday. I'm on the road for 3 straight weeks.
Whew.
Oh,
I'm on the road for the
gosh.
next 2. Dreading it.
Oh.
It's all good.
Well, we're gearing up for summer installs, so yeah, I'm busy in a whole nother way. So
Exactly.
yeah. All right. Well, and thank you to the crew as always. May the force be with you, as they say. But as I always say, until our next adventure.